Hey, this is James. I've been doing a lot of work on my 2001 Tiffin Allegro bus 35IP with a Freightliner XP chassis, mainly on the air system for both the suspension and the brakes. And I've rebuilt a couple of components and just wanted to share what I've learned. I'm not an expert. Definitely, people. I'm just a novice. I've had to self-educate here to make this stuff happen, and I'm just going to share it with you. So here's a diagram that was has been shared on irv2.com probably for quite some time. It's a typical uh, diesel chassis air braking system that's put out here. Um, the nice things about the DOT air hoses underneath are color coded, and so are the diagram here. Some of the work that I've been doing is with the air dryer, which is number 3 here, and the air relay, which is number 9 over here. And some of the tour of the components I'm going to take you on are the front lines here with the ABS sensors, number 10. This relief valve, I think that's what it's called. And then here is the ABS sensors on the back. Here's another. I think that's the parking valve. In yellow, this is where we pull the yellow button up in the cab. And then here's the air compressor, the governor, the line back from they call it the turbo saver. And then here are the main tanks so the air flows from here into the wet tank, I guess it is, and then into tanks A and B. And on my bus, I think the wet tank is up front. And again, and then also I'll show you where these two sensors are on the Freightliner chassis. So let's get to it. Here's a shot underneath the driver's seat area. You can see the foot valve with the different tubes going in and out. And underneath there is the yellow signal line for the parking brake button that's up in the cabin above. And you can see the steering coming in there to the steering gear. Here is the front ABS modulator valves on each side of the quick release valve. You can see the red DOT supply lines there. Here's another shot of the edge of that ABS valve, and you can see the airbag below it. These were taken before we replaced the airbags, but you can see the different colored lines. The red lines going to the front brakes and the blue lines going to the suspension. And up above at the very top, you see the two tanks. I know one of them is at least the B tank, number 5 on that diagram. And I don't know if the A tank for the rear brakes is there. It makes sense that they're further in the back and that this is the wet tank up front. I don't know if someone knows. Shoot me something in the comments there. This, you can see the wire here for this valve goes out to the outside where you can pull it to drain your tanks. There's another one back here somewhere, right there, that goes to the other wheel, and that's the loop inside the wheel wells when you want to drain these air tanks. And then there's one more here on this mechanism up here that goes to the passenger side where your door is at. You can see it right there. Okay, it's the front drum brakes. You can see the only wear is really right here. Still pretty good. Okay. That's the ABS sensor. And the other side's just like it. So it runs up through there and around there and the frame rail. And ends up somewhere up there. Probably goes back to the ABS computer, which is on this rail on the inside, all the way back there. Now we're at the rear of the bus, in front of the axle, in front of the rear axle, behind the baggage compartment. What you're seeing here is the air relay valve, the one that sets the brakes when you release the yellow brake valve up in your cab, and then directly above it, which you can't see, is the modulator, the rear ABS modulator valves with the quick release valve in the middle. That's pretty standard configuration of what I've seen in all the pictures of all these XC coaches. And then above that is the B tank for the rear main air supply. Next, you're seeing this comes over from the air relay valve, these black mini lines, and that's your pressure gauge and your pressure alarm. So if you ever need to replace those for your rear pressure gauge and the alarm for if there's not enough air in the system, that when it collapses your parking brakes, that's where the magic happens here. If you've ever wondered how much brake disc you have left, or brake drums, I guess, you have left, you can always crawl under the coach and look inside. There's no shielding inside, so they're really open to the elements, which has surprised me. Here you can see the brake shoes against the drum, and normally diesels in this class, these drum brakes last a long time, a couple 100,000 miles. Here's a video under the same part that we're just at. My hand's going to touch the ABS braking unit, and it's going to pan up to the air tank, and then the final grab of my hand you'll see is to the air relay valve. That's the one that I fixed later on, a couple weeks later on, in another video. Okay, this is the ABS computer. I'm on the passenger side, inside frame rail, right beside the axle and the differential. Air tank or suspension is there. This mechanism right before the baggage compartment basement, that's all your brake control system for ABS. Of course, here's your bellows, and then the brakes. Here is a picture of the rear ABS modulators with the quick release valve in between. Standard configuration, that's same as that's on the front. I just couldn't get a clear video of anything that I was able to show you. Every time I was showing you something, the air relay valve was in the way. It's at the bottom there where I'm circling the mouse, and then the tank up on top of it. Next, we have a video of the air dryer. Before I took it out, I had just degreased it and power washed it. You can see there's only 3 lines there. The small one is the one that goes back to the governor, which is called the turbo saver line. And then on the very bottom, there's a heater in that black cup. That's where the water comes out, and it's important to have the heater so your brakes don't freeze in the winter. And in the very first image, you see the silver or the bronze valve there, and that's the one that makes the noise, pressure relief valve. Finally, I'm going to end with some YouTube education. My picture might be covering it up, but this is from the Educational Mechanic. They gave a really good summary of air brakes.
I'm Matt, and in this video we're going to look a bit deeper into the air braking system.
There you go. So it's all the same, even though the engine's up here on this truck, our engine's on the back. Everything else is the same. It's a truck chassis. Over here's another one. This is from Bendix. Bendix has a lot of good resources. Well, that wraps it up. Again, not an expert, novice. I've only learned about this over the past month and a half. I just put this stuff out to show that you can do it too. Don't be afraid of it. A lot of educational material out there. Good luck, man. See you all next time.